Good evening and welcome to this week's Loose Links for a very special episode of A Panel of Five and find out who the newbie is. All that on tonight's show. James on the panel is Claire Brown in May, Rachel Penny, Sanjay Hitwell, and Cameron Johnson. As we talk about this week, we talk about flights, trains, and everything being cancelled. But is this good enough? Because actually, they've had 2 years of preparation. Find out what we think. We also talk about, because believe it or not, it has been in news this week, lateness. Are we good at being on time, or are we always last to the party? And how do we feel when it's in our time that somebody else is late? And we finish on the TV presenter Stephen Mulhern as he enters Lincolnshire In For a Penny. That's why we've got Rachel on this evening. In For a Penny, because I asked the panel, has anybody ever been starstruck? And how would they like to be remembered when they take their final breath? All that on tonight's show. Good evening, panel.
Good evening.
Hi, Cameron Johnson. Welcome back. How are you?
It's good, isn't it?
It's been a long time, matey. Cameron was one of our originals on Loose Lincoln. He's not been with us for a while, but he's back. He's back with excitement to join us all over. And you ready, ladies, for a big clap? It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Cameron! Have you done anything nice today?
I have, yes. I went in the hot tub. Obviously, we're staying at a cottage down home Firth, so went to had a nice little drinky poos, had a nice lunch out, and then after I finish here, I'll be going out for dinner as well.
Oh,
and a few drinks.
Yeah. We must crack on with the show tonight then, ladies. We have someone that's got an actual life after the show, so we'll have to crack on with it. We'll start with last week's poll results, because remember, it's your show as well as ours. Last week was a cracking show. I will apologise live on screen. I was quite harsh on you, Rachel Penny.
So that came back.
But it got good viewing. Thank you for watching us last week. It was a really good show to be involved in. But I asked, there was just one poll put up this week. Do you think it's now time for the Queen to step down? 91% of you said no. I was really shocked at that. I was expecting a 50-50, so 8% of you said yes, it was time to step down. And there was a poll where you could comment. If you could say something to the Queen, what would you say? Please comment below. Ash Morby, I think. Nice to meet you, Your Royal Highness. Diane Francis would say a few million of your subjects cannot afford to heat their homes and feed their families. What are you able to do to challenge the situation for your subjects? And Jodie has said, I asked my 4-year-old daughter this question as we prepared for the Jubilee celebrations. She answered, well done. I couldn't have put it better. I know it's divided opinions, but whatever you think, 70 years, whatever role, at least she deserves a well done. Thank you very, very much for commenting. Make sure you have your say as well as ours. It's your show as well as ours. But should we do what we do best, ladies and gents, and start chatting about this week's news? What's happening? So our first subject is cancelled flights, proposed railway strikes, and a recording-breaking petrol prices have thrown people's plans into misery. And now the peak of the summer holiday season and a long school breaks are hovering over the horizon. After more than 2 years of COVID restrictions, this should be a summer of fun, but we are now heading into the summer of misery. Do you think, though, do you think we need to give them more time, panel? Do you think actually a stay vacation or a vacation to maybe one of our other cities, our towny villages, and days out should be more looked upon at the moment than holidays?
I don't think so. And the reason is because it's actually cheaper to go abroad. Like where I'm staying now, I won't mention the price, but staying in this cottage, it's actually cheaper for me to go to Spain or Portugal for a week. And I've only been here for 4 days. So it's less hassle. But I've got 4 dogs at home as well. So, I mean, I could get my neighbours to look after them. So it's actually the same price to go abroad, if not cheaper, than it is to actually go as a stay vacation. That's me personally. That's with several people. That's all inclusive flights, hotel. For an example, I can go on holiday to Spain for a week for about £350. That's including everything. That's as per person. So it's 2 people, 700. For a cottage for about 4 or 5 days, you're looking at £800. It's actually cheaper.
Season is quite expensive, though, isn't it? And but also it is cheaper to go away. But in this climate where there's so much going on, and wars and what have you, there's no place like home really. But it's very expensive to be at home, and now with the fuel prices, you can't even travel very far without. I went and put just 20 quid in my car today. I just thought I'd just put 20 quid in. It got me 90 miles on my clock. 90 miles, that's all. So you're not going to be going for a coffee anytime soon, Nick. You're at the other end of the city, so don't call me.
Hold on a minute. Did you tell me I couldn't pick on you this evening? And already you've started.
Just getting your own back after last week.
Karma.
Yeah.
What about you, Claire? Do you think it's time to stay vacate and also maybe have days out instead of holidays at the moment?
Well, like you say, I'm 50-50. Like, for me personally, if it was just me to go away, then yes, I'd get on a plane with some friends and off you go. But if it's with the family, then it's different. As you know, I've got a disabled son, so you have to sort all that out and everything. He really, his next holiday, wants a villa. Anyway, so it's going to be expensive, whichever way you look at it. But I like, our country. But you just get recommendations of where to go. But then, like what Cameron said, for 4 days where he is, and it's costing him an arm and a leg. But it just depends if you don't mind the flights, if you don't mind the delays, if you don't mind not knowing what your apartment's going to be like and everything like that. Which I suppose if you go down south or something, you don't know. But right this moment, I'm not bothered about going abroad. If we'd got the weather here, I'm quite happy in my back garden, or just nip into school on a weekend, let the chickens out and talk to them.
I've got my chickens in my back garden, so I know.
You've got chickens?
Yeah, I've got 5.
I go on holiday to Mablethorpe, and I love it. And for 5 days, going from Monday to Friday, it cost me like 130 quid.
Right.
At a B&B. 130 quid at a B&B, and it's right on the place where I go. It is right on the coast. It is right on the beach. It looks out on the beach and everything. So I think it just depends where you go.
What travel do you do, Sam? How do you get there?
My ex-stepdad actually takes me.
Yeah. Again, though, what I mean, which is not bad, but you've got like petrol and
The thing is, he won't accept anything for petrol. So I'll give you so much petrol. No, don't want it. I was like,
oh, I'll come with you next time then.
The only thing, Sam,
Mablethorpe,
you're really lucky in that respect if that you can find fun in that sort of way, because if anybody's from Skegness, I'm not dissing Skegness, I'm really not. But I've done a day at Skegness and I'm done. And I think as a 5-6-year-old child, I spent 7 days there. And I think, how the hell did I do 7 days in Skegness? No diss to Skegness. If you do live in Skegness, I'm not saying that it's a horrible place to go.
There is more to Skegness. It's costly to go on the beach and the pleasure beach and on the rides and things like that. But you go a bit further down the coast to Marsh Yard, Moggs Eye and Anderby Creek. There's all dunes. no shops and what have you, and that absolutely fantastic there it is. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I went down a rabbit hole in the dunes, trying to lunge for a frisbee, and I stepped into a rabbit hole and I went plop. And it broke my ankle actually, but it was fun. But you could take your dogs, you could take animals with you.
So
Yeah, that's
you
a plus,
raised your
actually.
family, how did
That's
you?
a plus. It's a plus
Yeah,
that you can
but
take
you
your
cannot
animals with
go
you though,
away.
isn't it, on holiday. So I like that. That's a good point.
But is it good enough? Let's get onto it, panel. Is it good enough that actually train stations, planes, airports, all of that have had 2 years of preparation for us coming back? Is it good enough?
They haven't, have they, Nick? They haven't had preparation. They've got rid of most of the staff. They halved their staff while COVID was on. And then they haven't filled in the gaps because Brexit happened. There's not any European workers to help out with in the shops at the airports and what have you. Now see the trains. They think to themselves, I suppose, oh well, we can ask as much money as we want to now because the planes are on. There's no planes flying off. People are going to be staying at home more, and we can, ask for what we want for pay. So now they're going on strike. So we're absolutely coming to a halt. This country is. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the answer is though.
But what have they done for 2 years then, Rachel? Do you know what I mean? What they've had?
Like the rest of us, we've had to stop what we're doing as a norm.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I'm not completely disagreeing with you. I'm sort of on the fence because the thing is, I do think, well, actually, it was very clear when we were coming out of lockdown. It was very clear that when we were going to get to our new normal. And actually, if I was an airport or if I was in charge of an airport, I would be planning to have everything in place when those gates opened. So people were, because you are not telling me they were not ready for people to fly to an airport. That's all anybody's ever talked about for the last 2 years. I can't wait to go on holiday. I can't wait to get away onto the beach. And now we're not in COVID crisis. We're in holiday crisis now because flights are being cancelled and people that have put down a deposit it's going nowhere. Is it good enough?
I mean, in Lincoln, the bus services, they've been just as bad. And I think, they've got a driver shortage at the moment. And they keep missing out services, especially in the morning when my daughter's going to school. She has to take 2 buses to school and she's quite often late because the bus services don't run. So I think a lot of, obviously it's, all public transport, they should have had this sorted. You would have thought so. But for some reason they didn't. What
about you, Claire? Do you agree?
Well, again, like you
I
say,
love it when you start talking because you get up, it's like you're about to dive in front of the camera. Here she goes, licking her lips.
My turn next. The trouble is, we don't work for these companies. Do you know what I mean? And as much as we could say they should have done, you're talking like the railway, you're talking airways, multi-million-pound businesses. So yeah, on one hand, why aren't they ready? Why weren't they ready? But on the other hand, there must have been so much going on, as in, like Sam said, is there enough staff? They got rid of people. So can they recruit them? Obviously not, because that's why they're short staffed. You've got the fuel price rates going straight up. Do you know what I mean? So, yes, I agree with you. They've not had 2 years, but after 2 years, you would have thought they would have been ready because they would have lost so much money. But on the other hand, there's got to be a reason why they're not ready.
Why aren't these jobs filled? There's the Office of National Statistics. It says 1.3 million job vacancies were available in the months February to April this year. Where
are they?
Where are they? It's amazing.
You go into your shop. I went shopping with my mum last week. and we went into 3-4 shops, and I think most of those shops were advertising for people to work there. You know,
I've seen a lot.
Yeah, like Next, like Home Bargains, you know, different types, good shops, bad shops, you know, all shops, I'm not saying. But yeah, you know, there's jobs out there. And I mean, there's always jobs in fast food, always. But people just they want to pick and choose, you know, so they can't be that. And I know, like, I mean, I am working, and I'm not saying I'm struggling, but I've really got to watch my pennies, you know. So these people who are not working, why? Are they getting more money for not working? I don't know.
Poor Cameron, we've got 3 gobby women on there and he can't get a word in between.
What I was going to say was there is jobs out there. There's people that don't want to work.
Yeah.
Just being blunt. There's a lot of people that don't want to work. I mean, I've worked from the age of 15. I left school, didn't go to college. I set my own business up doing car valeting. I was charging 60, 70, 80 quid a car. I had a business sideline selling cars as well. So I made my own success, sold it on now, and I now work in private security. So I work very, very hard for what I do. Very, very hard. I also work in a search and rescue team as well. So there's the 2 jobs that I do now. And I've done that with no...
from under the table, Cameron. Search and rescue teams, security, anything else to pick up?
No, but the thing is, what I'm trying to make is I'm 21 years old, and I've got like 2 GCSEs. And I've done that with no CV, nothing. I've just gone in and got those jobs. There's a lot of people that just don't want to work, and sometimes it's not even the people not wanting a job. It might be people employing them, might be hearing, you know, bit of bad demeanour of maybe staff they've worked with or don't work there because they don't treat you right, or maybe competitors will be offering more money, so therefore then you get short staff and then you get rubbish service at several places across Lincolnshire. And that's unfortunately what happens. There's either the company itself, or it's the employees for that company, or potential employees. That's the problems that you have. And if you don't pay people enough money, they're not going to want to do the job. So you need to pay people, you know. You kind of have to get the right people, you have to pay. And unfortunately, people don't want to. So you're never going to win that way, are you, really?
No, but also I've got a cousin who's got a haulage firm, and they're going to be 4 drivers down by the end of this month. They can't get any drivers.
I'd love to drive.
Because everything's being priced out, because where they live, it's an expensive area. And so if you get people to come in to who live there, they want a lot of money. And they just can't get drivers. And a couple of them were Polish drivers. They're fantastic, reliable, really good workers. And they've gone back. And so, you know, but on the list of the most difficult jobs to fill at the moment, you've got web designers on the list, computer programmers. You've got all these jobs that, are important, but you haven't got pilots or train drivers or HGV drivers. They're not even on it. Why? You need to.
Do you think we are? Do you think we are in that? I hate using the word, but I will use the word. Do you think we are in that world of snowflakes? Do you think we are in a world now where actually people want to be at the top from day one? Do you think that slowly building your career and becoming bigger and better has completely gone out the window?
Yeah.
I
think so. Because nowadays people want things here and now. You know, people don't have patience nowadays. So, you know, everybody wants everybody wants something done yesterday. And it's like, you know, people just are not patient enough to wait around for it. I mean, some of the obviously, you know, one thing I noticed when Rachel was reading the jobs out, a lot of them you need qualifications for. And it got me thinking that there's a lot of jobs out there that you need qualifications for, and not everybody's got those qualifications. So that's another thing and also some places want you to have qualifications and experience. So, you know, it can sometimes be difficult to fill these jobs because of the employers being specific about what they want, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, but all these jobs, they cost a lot of money to actually get trained up on, I suppose, as well. But there are people out there to do these jobs. There were the people before the pandemic. Where have they gone? Where have they all disappeared?
No, the thing is, I think you've got to be a little bit on the fence of it, I guess. So the thing is, it is about the employer and what experience they're looking for and what qualifications you must have. Yes, there is that. But it's got the tangent has got to swing both ways. So if you really want a job, so say like you really wanted, you really wanted to work in retail. Now, if I really wanted to work in retail, and I have been on those lines where I've changed location and come back to no job, and really had to think about what I wanted to do as a career going forward and what I needed to do. And I'm in the best, I can't say where I am, but I'm in the best position that I've been in a very, very long time. But that's been a very, very build-up sort of thing to start from the bottom and work my way up. Now, what I'm saying is to balance the tangent a little bit. So say like I wanted retail and never worked in retail, go and do a day's volunteering. Go into a shop and say, I am free on a Wednesday from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Can you give me some experience? And 9 times out of 10, because you are asking a company to give your volunteer up, to not pay you, but to train you. And 9 times out of 10 they do. So I'm a bit on the fence of, yes, you've got to have qualifications, but in the same respect, you've got to help yourself. You've got to get out of the rut that you're in, and you've got to help yourself going forward.
Because I would probably say, obviously, all training is all great, really, isn't it? Really, I mean, if I could have gone back to college and done stuff, I think, well, I probably still could now, couldn't I? Really, but I'd love to. I mean, I originally wanted to go into veterinary care, but I got put off probably by that sort of mindset. I haven't got the qualifications, so well, I just left it. Which I've been asked actually by somewhere to actually go into, train in veterinary care with them and work there as a manager, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
It's my dream job. Yeah. So obviously, but train them at the same time to be a manager for them and also train with them. So that's pretty awesome. So I'm thinking about it in a minute. But yeah, I would say the mindset of, oh dear, I haven't got qualifications, therefore I'm not going to try. Which then you got to see it from the employer's position. They want to get the best staff member in. They don't want to get anyone in that gives it up in 2 weeks' time, because then you open yourself up. You don't know what you're going to get. It's a bit like a lucky bag. You don't know who are you going to be employing, because anyone could look good at an interview. Anyone could say the right things, but those things on your qualification, on your CV, how you present yourself physically and on that piece of paper, they do matter, and it shows how much you really care.
On paper, though, qualifications on paper don't always project the kind of person you are. Look at Zoe Anderson, who's on here now and again.
Yeah.
And she didn't have any qualifications coming out of school. Look what she's achieved. You know, she had all those awards. She had NHS. She's done quite a lot on here.
Yeah.
And you've got to have something about you. It's no good just having it on paper. It's got to be the whole package. To excel sometimes, but
yeah,
you know,
depends what job you're going for. But I wasn't meaning just like a CV, like for your qualifications. I mean, like how you present yourself physically, how you come to meetings, those sort of things actually matter as well. Because I could have an A in maths and A in English and stuff, which I quite clearly I can talk English. So you know, yeah, I could. It's true, isn't it? I can have an A in English, but like I can't go and put a suit on properly. Like, you know, you look a bit scruffy. You're not going to get a job, are you, mate? Like, it's not happening, is it? It's just simple things, really.
Going back to petrol and going back to flights and going back to trains and all of that, do you think, ladies and gents, we could all have a very different opinion on this. Do you think we are now paying for COVID?
No, we're paying for the tax man. It's all a lie.
What about you, Claire? Do you think we're paying for COVID?
Well, someone's got to pay for it, haven't they? But I can see it just going badly wrong, you know. I don't know how to phrase it really, but you know, petrol price, everything's gone up and up and up, but our wages haven't, you know. And since COVID, there's been lots of mental health problems because people didn't have jobs. So now, looking forward, those people might not have jobs. They might not be able to get jobs because of their mental health. So how are they going to afford all this that's changing? You know, these high prices. So, yeah, I think we are paying for it.
And I think we have to take consideration in what you've just said there, Claire, really, about mental health. It's not about... I think everybody over this past 2 years, and I'm talking about everybody, I'm not saying select few, I think in some sort of way we've all suffered with mental health over the last 2 years. We really all have. But in the same respect, you've got to think of those people that find it difficult to go outside of their home, to socialise outside their home, the anxiety of walking out the front door, when actually we've had 2 years of telling that person it's okay to stay at home. You're all right to stay at home at the moment, you can stay home. And now building that anxiety to come back out and to socialise again. And I don't know about you four, but in my little life, I found it hard. Like when I've organised to meet a friend or whatever, I really struggle now to get dressed and to go out and meet somebody, because actually I can't be bothered. I can't, because we've had 2 years of being at home and actually not seeing anybody. Now making an effort and now going out and dressing up and all of that, it's harder than it was 2 years ago, don't you think?
You just can't be bothered, Nick. You just can't be bothered. You switch your phone off at night, you pretend you're in bed under the covers, and the thing is, when you ring somebody up, it's important at 5 o'clock in the morning or something daft like that. But when somebody rings you, you say, "What do you get about being in bed?" No, but
Rachel sent me a message last night saying, "Can you speak to me?" And I literally sent her a message, thinking she would click on. I'm just in bed with the lights off with the.
No, you didn't.
Still bloody rings, doesn't she? Still rings.
What do? You don't even give me you don't even ask me if I'm available. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. What was the question?
Nick, going back to that, Nick, weren't you available last night then?
Well, I wasn't available last night. I was in bed under the covers, but she still bloody rang me.
I would have done. I
had to ask you something about the programme. Anyway, going back to the anxiety in people with mental health, I think it's affected absolutely everybody. This has, and there was Brexit, there was COVID, and now there's Ukraine war. You know, everything has had a knock-on effect. And one thing, we haven't been able to get rid of one thing before the other one started, and the other one, and I think it's got to slow down soon. Something's got to happen. But we're all paying for it. But as difficult as life is going to be here, it's not as difficult as those in Ukraine, is it? And I know you can't really generalize it like that, but I'm grateful that I've still got a roof over my head. But it says at the moment I have. But there's that worry when you're in a place of comfort, when things are going to be taken away from you, or things you struggle. You see, I don't work, and my situation is a little bit difficult at the moment. But I worry when what I'm going to do next, and so people with real worries. There's going to be more mental health. There's going to be more ill mental health, and I think it's going to get worse before it's going to get better, quite honestly.
I agree with you on that, because I have mental health issues before COVID hit. I had a lot of mental health issues, and the COVID just made things worse for me. Last year I had three mental breakdowns because of things just getting on top of me and things just going, you know, I just, I really struggled last year. So, I agree with you, the fact that, if somebody's, people with mental health, it's going to be even worse for them now, And going back to the, going out and about, I've seen on like my Facebook and on my Instagram, a couple of my friends, they go to all these concerts and everything, and they're putting up these videos of the concert, and all I can think is, oh my God, that's how you spread COVID. That's all I could think about. So, I can't deal with being in a crowded place like at a concert, because my anxiety would be too high for a start. So, I'm one of those that do worry about it. And I am one of those who will not do things because I don't want to be in close contact with people. So yeah, it's had a big effect on myself, and I'm sure it's had a lot more effect on other people as well.
It's had the opposite on me, quite honestly, Sam. It's had the opposite, because I think I've lost quite a lot through COVID. I've lost family, and I've lost my previous lifestyle. I think now I say to myself, sod it, I'm going to do it. Your life is, I'm going to do whatever I want now. I've had COVID, I've had all the jabs, I've had infusions, which I don't know what's going to happen to me. So I think I've got long COVID now. But I just want to grab life by the throat, and if I can afford to, wring it out. But but there are a lot of people like you, Sam.
Me personally, I actually quite like the idea of going out socialising. In fact, whatever I was allowed to do, I'm saying very, very carefully because it's going to go to quite a few thousand people, whatever I was allowed to do, I'll do. I had no problems, no fear whatsoever. In fact, there was a thing where obviously my previous business had, through COVID, I actually improved my profit through COVID. I think I was one of the only businesses. In fact, I think we tripled how much I was earning, because I was a mobile business and I could still work. So all the car washes are closed down, just obviously before I sold my business, and I was able to still work mobile. So actually, I was still socialising them with customers, and obviously I was taking precautions to keep my customers safe. But me personally, it might sound, I've had people affected by it for some reason. I don't feel scared. Again, in my private security sort of role, when we had restrictions coming in and out, I was still working in nightclubs, to go into big events, to go into security roles where I was protecting certain people, places, etc. It just didn't affect me at all. And even now, I socialise just as normal. And it's just what I've always been like. I think I'm just, I don't know why. Maybe you can call me ignorant. I'm not ignorant at all. I know what COVID is. I don't deny that it's a medical condition that can affect people's lives, etc. I certainly would be selfish, but I'm not going to stop myself and affect my mental health and lock myself in a room and punish myself almost from from not socialising.
I think it's time to slowly move on. But tell us what you guys think. Do you think actually airports and train stations have got something to answer for when they've had 2 years preparation? Do you think we need to stay vacated a little bit more, maybe travel our own cities and have days out? And do you believe out there that we are now paying for COVID? I have got to state, Rachel, I am going to share your biggest loss. So I hope you're prepared. I'm going to share Rachel's biggest loss via COVID, and her biggest loss was jellies. She had a bag of jellies.
I had the hugest bag of jellies, covered in sugar, huge bag. They were costly, they were expensive. I bought them for Christmas, and then this gentleman came to stay with me on Christmas Day, for Christmas Day dinner. And he never left because he got COVID. And he took me jellies with him. He had to. As I looked at, he came down one morning and he said, "Oh, Rachel, I'm positive." I said, "Right, stay away." I put my coat on, put my hood up. My mask was on. I wrapped him up. He looked like E.T. going home with the windows open in the back of the car. If I could have stuck him in the boot, I would have done. But everything he'd had his fingers in, I'll let him take home with him. My bag of jellies was one.
Bag of jellies. She's never let me forget those bag of jellies, ladies and gents. I can tell you that. She's
That's
still.
every time you answer the phone on camera, you get a jelly. And say, oh, I haven't finished thinking. Anyway,
Second subject, believe it or not, it has been in the news this week. So we're going to talk about lateness. So good as intentions may be, most people find themselves late for work every now and then, with hectic school runs, traffic jams often getting in the way in the most sought out morning routine. Most of the time, the occasion late start isn't too much or a big deal, especially if you're arriving 1 minute or so after your shift time. However, as previously reported by Daily Star, one boss appears to take such manner tardiness very seriously indeed, punishing employees if they are so much as 1 minute late to the office. The exact rule was shared by a former staff member who took a snapshot of a poster with a harsh policy. But do you mind lateness? Does it get on your nerves or does it really rile you? Let's go to you first, Claire. What do you think about lateness?
Well, you're talking to me, who you usually text me, say, are you ready? Because I'm never on time. And then I come to get on and you haven't even sent me the link. So I went, have you got the link for me? Because I'm ready, on time. So, yeah, 9 times out of 10, I am late. Now, that might not be because of me. It could be because of me. But
that might not be because of me, but it could be.
It could be. Well, I'm saying it could be my daughter, it could be my son, or it could just be me. But anyway, I'm quite laid back with that. There's a reason why I'm late. I mean, this morning I overlaid. Gosh. But it's amazing, isn't it, when you overlay, how quick you can get ready? Because I think you've got less time. So, but when, you think you've got plenty of time, it just goes. So, yeah, I must admit, I don't like admitting it, but I am more of a late person than a punctual person. And I say I'm not really late for school because we have to, at school for work, because we do have to be there like 10 minutes before. Try and tell my daughter 20 minutes before because she's the one who makes me late. But I always turn up, I say on time, but I always leave the party late.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Rachel? Does it drive you mad if somebody's late?
I thought you were going to say something else then, because I'm always late.
You're always late. Rachel will be late to her own funeral.
Well,
People used to think about me.
No, I don't mind lateness because I'm usually late getting ready. If somebody's coming to pick me up, so they're late. But my brother is completely different. He gets to work half an hour early every morning.
Does he?
Early.
I had an ex like that. My ex from years ago would always wouldn't have to start till 8:30, but would leave the house at 7. And I would think, why are you getting there so early? But I did find out reasons why, but that's another show. What about you, Sam? Are you good with lateness, or does it rile you?
I used to be always late. I used to be late to school, and in between classes, I was always the last one in the classroom. And I wasn't exactly a fast walker either, but and people used to joke that I would be late to my own funeral. My mum used to say that to me all the time, and where we grew up, my high school was just at the back of us. You could see the high school from the kitchen window. So, and I was always still late, even though I'm just at the back of the school, I was always still late for school, but I've improved on that nowadays. I have improved on that. I manage my time a lot better now, but yeah, back at school, I was terrible.
What about you, Cameron? Are you good with lateness if somebody's late?
So what? for work, I will drive just on time. See, if it's early in the morning, which I never work, I always work nights. Actually, let's pretend I'm working a day shift, which never happens most of the time. And I'm supposed to start at 8 o'clock. Let's say it's a half an hour drive. I will leave at 7:35. And I'll just like broom, broom, broom. Off I go to work, and I'll get there dead on 8 or
Really?
7:59. Yeah, 7:59. Running, yeah.
Just at last minute. Well, I've got a funny story to tell you all. And Claire, you're not allowed to laugh because you always laugh at my stories, so you're not allowed to laugh at this one. But I
We'll laugh first then.
But I was years and years and years ago when I lived with my mum and dad, and I first started to go to church, 2006, 2007, and I woke up one morning and it was 5 to 9. No, quarter to 10, and the service starts at 10. So I threw off the cover, I threw a load of clothes on. I looked a mess, honestly. I looked pair of jeans, shirt, didn't even look smart. Just threw whatever I could get on. Literally ran out the door. Bye, Mum, see you soon. I'll be back later. Ran to the door, got to the church door, literally like that, and worked out it was Saturday morning.
You were early then.
I was never like, Claire, shut your face.
I weren't laughing, I was coughing.
Yeah, me too.
Do you think employees need to start being a little bit more harsher to people that are coming in late, especially to early birds who are sat there on the computer with the coffee ready and everything typing away, and you see somebody in the corner of the room coming 20 minutes late? Do you actually think bosses need to do something about this now?
I've got an idea. This is my idea. I think if the post starts at 8 and they arrive between 7:30 and 8 sort of times, or 7:30 and 7:50 sort of time schedule, they should get like a little mini bonus, like something very small.
Rachel would never be late.
And then what will happen is they don't got to waste time on disciplinaries or getting new staff because of all that. And then you're rewarding your employees. Your employees feel rewarded, and therefore you can have good staff. You're going to work for you, and always going to be on time. Do
we agree, ladies?
What snowflakes are they then?
The ones that need paying.
If you're lucky for to get a job, you should be there when it starts.
I'm always there on time. It's always dead on time.
Snowflakes today.
Talk about carrot dangling, that you're lucky to get a job and you get paid for what you do, and probably an incentive to be some kind of bonus at the end of for doing the job excellently.
But
go on, Claire, go on.
Wait a minute.
Oh well, I've never been on the other side of one of them.
But are we talking lateness as in every shift?
Yeah.
Or, like 20 minutes.
That's what I was going to bring up.
20 minutes is a long time if you are late every day. You want your wages docking, But then saying that, I usually work 2 hours after. So I want pay rise. But no, like I say, I'm not late, but I'm not early. But if there was a scheme, I might want to be early.
So going round the panel,
set the scheme up. I'll be early.
Going round the panel then, Cameron, are you an early bird or are you a late person all the time?
Neither.
Neither. You're on time.
Just
on time.
Or if I work in a secure unit doing security as well, so I do several roles of security. Main job is in the secure unit. So I always have to arrive 15 minutes and I can clock on. So actually I can clock on early, is what I'm talking about. And I get paid for being early. I get half an hour extra wage. So why wouldn't you? I don't mind. So I don't want to plan my night for it because I'm getting there for 10:30 at night and I'm staying to let's say 9:30 in the morning or whatever time schedule it is. So if I arrive early, I'm getting half an hour extra wage. So I'm quite happy with that. I just clock on the app.
Even better. What about you, Sam? Are you an early bird or always late to the party?
Well, I used to be always late, I was really terrible for it. But like I said, you know, as I've grown up, I've gotten a lot better. So, you know, I'm usually on time now.
We'll bypass Rachel because she's always late, so we won't even ask Rachel if she's an early bird or a late bird. But what about you, Claire? Are you the child at the front of the class with the apple, or are you running through that school gate quicker than you can say Claire Brown in May?
I'm not at the front, I'm not at the back, I'm in the middle of the class.
Oh, are you?
Because I'm not a swat. I don't like, and I'm not naughty, so I'm not going to sit at the back. Put me in the middle. And I might be naughty when they're not looking, or I might be good if they're looking.
Tell us what you guys think. Does it rile you up if a friend is late? Are you always late to the party, or are you that early bird? And is that policy from that boss? Should employers be a bit more harsh on their employees? Have your say, Rachel. You have your say. There's many ways you can get in touch with us. We have a Facebook I'll say that again. We have a Facebook page, group, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, looselinks@gmail.com, www.looselinks.co.uk.
YouTube.
Pardon?
YouTube.
YouTube, yes. So have a look at our YouTube page as well. We have a YouTube page. But we finish on the final subject, which is a local celebrity that's been in Lincolnshire, ladies and gentlemen. As we talk about, let me find him. A Lincoln man said he loved being on the show after being among the people that were lucky enough to be involved when Stephen Mulhern filmed the ITV In for a Penny. Rachel, In for a Penny. In the city this week, In for a Penny sees television presenter Stephen Mulhern hit the streets with pop-up game shows where unexpected members of the public take on a challenge and complete for a cash prize. Cameron, let's go to you because you've been to all these events in your life. Have you ever been starstruck?
Yes.
Goodbye. Tell us who you've met.
Who have I met? Well, I met two rugby players that I was helping with work. Who else was that? That's a really good question. I've met quite a few people. I met a famous comedian.
Who's been your most memorable? Who's been your most like wow moment? Oh, I'm putting him on the spot now.
Because they're all right, can't it, mate? Do you know what? That's a really good question that I don't know the answer to.
Well, have a think about it. I'll come back to you. Sam, have you ever been starstruck?
I have.
Who by?
You see, as a teenager, back in the 90s, I was a bit of a boy band geek. I loved boy bands and girl bands and mixed bands and that. And one of my favourite was a band called 911.
Oh, yes, I remember. them.
Was their most memorable hit. Me and my friend went to a signing in Leeds, an album signing. It was their second album. I've still got the album, actually. Went to do an album signing in that. And on our way back, we went to a petrol station a service station to go and get something to eat. And as we were leaving, I saw one of the members of 911 there, and I was like, oh, and my friend next to me, we walked out the toilet, so I went, Don Love! Wait for 911! It's just going, no, it's not. I went, yes, it is.
Did you say hello?
Yeah, we got photos with all three of them, and we had a chat and everything. They were lovely lads.
What about you, Rachel Penny? Have you ever been starstruck?
I've seen a few stars in my time, but not really starstruck. I did take my mum about 4 years ago to see Giovanni Panici at the Theatre Royal, and I paid for her to have her go backstage afterwards, and there was a queue, and it was the start of, unfortunately, of Mum's Alzheimer's, and she she used to love the theatre. She was an English and drama teacher, and she loved it. She loved Strictly. And she was starting to lose a bit of her senses at this time. She stood in the queue, and it was so comical. She says, "Doesn't he talk?" "He has to talk to everyone, Mum." "I know." She says, "Shall we go?" "We're not paid for this." So we stood either side of him, and there's somebody taking a picture with our camera for us. And she just looks at his chest, and he's got this kind of like a sundial or something on his chest or whatever it is. And he's there putting his arms around both of us. And she just looks at him and says, "Oh, catch your death." And she got the jacket and tried to button it shut. But I said, oh, it was quite comical. But no, I'm not really starstruck, but I appreciate a live show. It's always the best you've seen so far when you see a live show.
What about you, Claire? Have you ever been starstruck?
Not really, but Sam, my friend who lives down the road, is absolutely besotted with 911. So I've seen that. She's dragged me to Butlins. She dragged me once somewhere when the kids, I was trying to look for the photo. The kids were only really little, and it was horrible weather. It was raining, and the kids had a photo with the lead singer, and pardon?
Lee,
of course, Lee Brennan.
Yeah.
And she's absolutely still besotted with them. Wherever they go, she tries to, to get to see them.
Let me know and I'll come along with you.
But no, I've seen, like I say, loads of bands. I wouldn't say I'm besotted, because I just think, well, better off, better than me. You've just got more money than me. Do you know what I mean? But
I've met Tony Christie.
Oh, have you?
It's just the way to Amarello. Yes, I've met Tony Christie. That's my stardom to fame. But it did get me thinking about, and it'd be really good, and I've been dying to say it all the way through the show. And actually, I've had a real long think about how I'm going to say this. So I'm going to surprise you all in a sort of way, how I'm going to say this. Oh, we've lost Cameron. Hopefully he'll come back in a second.
Cameron's camera.
Back. If he's suddenly disappeared. But what if not, thank you, Cameron, for the show, and we'll see you next time you're on it. But what I wanted to talk about is, and as I was saying, I had a really long think about it, really, and I really thought about how I was going to say this. But when we look at celebrities and people that wow us, we find when we look really hard, we find people that wow us in our everyday lives. And I think that's really important, that those people are noted and said upon as well. And one person, when I was thinking about inspiration, like what I need to find that person that inspires me and how they inspire me. And I'm going to describe this person as to me, I've heard a lot of their life. And their life has been very much like this, very much up here, then down here. But they've survived it all. They've survived it all. They've coped with it. They've dealt with it. They've had some conditions in their life which they've overcome and put a smile on every person's face that they've possibly met in their life. This person will do absolutely anything for anyone and put their life on stop to help and support somebody else. Inspirational in the conditions that this person has. They have quite a few conditions, but actually they stare the condition in the face and they carry on and make sure it doesn't defeat them. And my big inspiration is you, Rachel Penny.
Oh my God.
Because actually, I think that's you. I think you inspire so many people out there without even realising that you inspire so many people out there. And actually, I am thankful every single day that you give me spirit, and I am incredibly thankful that you're my friend.
Oh.
So thank you very much,
sorry.
Rachel Penny.
Lost signal.
No, don't be daft. Don't be daft. We're there at the end. But do you think it's really important to have inspirational people in our lives? Do you think that we need that push from people sometimes? Let's go to you first, Sam.
I think so, because it gives you something to work towards. I mean, the person that I'm inspired by is my own daughter. She's been through a lot. She lost, when she was six and a half, she lost her dad to cancer. And then, you know, she's had to deal with all of that. She's had a lot of mental health issues because of losing her dad so young. And then, and then she's had health problems as well. So, and then a couple of years ago, she came out to me as gay. I mean, I knew, you know, I had that like mother instinct, and I knew she was, but I wasn't going to approach her about it, because I was like, you know, she can come out to me in her own time. You know, I was like, let her come out to me in her own time. I don't want to force her. So, and eventually she did. She came out to me, and she was, you know, we were both in tears by the end of it. You know, it was such a nice moment. But yeah, she's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Then, you know, at school she had some homophobic bullying at school, which of course I went into mama bear mode. I took 2 buses down there, and I went, you know, I was like, I want it sorting now, kind of thing. So, you know, she has really inspired me. She's just done with what she's been through in life, her short life. She's been through a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Sam. Thank you for sharing it with us. But our final question, it's not a very happy, so good lucky question, but it is our final question. Cameron, if you were to go tomorrow, take your final breath tomorrow, how would you like to be remembered? On your birthday, of all days to ask you.
I don't want to die yet, thanks, Nick, but got a little life left for me, hopefully. But yeah, I like being that sort of guy, happy-go-lucky guy, socialising. Yeah, just a lot of fun. It's a bit basic.
That sounds good. What about you, Sam? What about you, Sam? How would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered as being quirky, eccentric, but also someone who, you know, would do anything for anybody, for those close to them, which I do. You know, the people, you know, my close circle, you know, of friends, I would do you know, I'd help them out in that. So, you know, I'd like to be remembered for that, but also, you know, for the fact that with everything that's going on with my health, you know, I still push through. I push through with the, you know, with all the chronic illnesses I have, and that I still push through. I still get on with life, and I still carry on.
That's lovely. What about you, Rachel Penny? How would you, now you've dried off the tears, how would you like to be remembered?
I would just have in my will, get Nick to write it.
What about you, Claire? How would you like to be remembered?
Yeah, like Sam, I would do anything for anybody. You know, like I say, I was out of work for a long time because of the children, but I wasn't all at home. Do you know what I mean? I've got lots of friends with mental health problems. I had then, and I still have. So I'd go round to them, see if it was all right. You know, so I am willing to help. Of course, I work in a school with young children, and although the age I am, I act 3. So I want to be known as like a happy-go-lucky person, which I'm not all the time, but that's what I want. I try to give out. Do you know what I mean? I mean, who at my age dresses up as a chicken? You know, I mean, I'm not being funny. Our story this week is Rose's Walk. It's all about a chicken being chased by a fox, And I said to teacher, I says, do you want me to put my costume on for role play?
Do you know, the thing that I think would be most important to me, maybe not to be remembered, but my legacy, what I would love my legacy to be is, if I can do it, so can you. And that would be my last statement, that I would never give up, no matter how hard or difficult it gets. Never give up. And if someone as silly and not very wise as me can make it through the years and get through to the end of their life, so can you. So that's how I would want my legacy to finish. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this week's Loose Links. It's been quite a show and it's been really enjoyable. Have you enjoyed yourself, panel?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Apart from my little disaster.
Cameron, it's so good to have you back. Thank you for joining us. You will see more of Cameron from now on. He's back as one of our panellists. So once seen, never forgotten. But can you thank my panel for this evening? The glorious and marvellous Claire Browning-May. The one that's always late to the party and doesn't give a flying, that's Rachel Penny. Sanjay Hitwell and Cameron Johnson. See you next week. Take care. See you all very soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.